Hello, welcome. Let's just come and sit for the beginning of this practice. I always take a blanket underneath my bottom. I've got a bolster for later, so I'll pop that to the side. Don't worry if you haven't got something, but if you do, putting a little bit of height underneath your sitting bones can just make sitting a little bit more comfortable. So come into an easy cross-legged position. If you've got bricks or extra pillows and your knees are up here, just slide them underneath and take a moment to settle yourself, rolling around in your seat, just massaging around in a circle, settling down. Hi, Lara. And then lifting up, out of your waist. So we lengthen out through the side waist here. I'm going to get you to take a nice, slow, deep breath in through the back of the nostrils, and then just slowly release the breath, exhaling, breathing in slowly, using the arms to flare the ribs out to the side as you breathe in. And you can see my fingers are being all floaty and my wrists are being all floaty. See if you can do the same, because it just helps the shoulders to release tension. It's kind of like a swan, big wingspan opening up to the sides. That's it. And with every inhalation, imagine your vertebrae are lifting and pulling apart, so you're creating space between the vertebrae. That's it. Now, as you breathe in, just swirl to a side and give yourself a mini twist. And then up and over, mini twist. Flowing up, flowing down. Just noticing how your neck is feeling, how the shoulders are feeling, how it feels mid-back, thoracic spine where you're doing the twist. Beautiful. And then come and give yourself a lateral stretch, sliding up and over. Hi, Ruth. Up and over to the other side. So again, nice, soft, flowy fingertips, as if you are some seaweed just being pulled by the current from side to side, up and over. Don't worry, guys, haven't missed anything. We're just starting with a bit of mobility through the shoulders, through the lungs, opening the lung capacity. Beautiful. And now take this hand and kind of swirl it in front of you. If you're outside on the grass, swirl your hands onto the grass. Unfortunately, my Wi-Fi wouldn't work on the grass, so still in the studio. I've got my lovely swimming pool in the background, which I've just been in because it was so hot. So incredibly thankful right now to have this. To think when we first moved into this house, we were like, we're going to have to fill this in, because who has a swimming pool in England? Actually, goodness me, it's been fantastic. So big breath in, and then you kind of slide your fingers down around you. If you have got grass, just really feel the grass with your fingertips up and down. Fantastic. Let's do that on the other side. So up, stretching up and over and releasing. Breathing in and breathing out. Up and over. Good. So you just want to start to increase this thoracic mobility. Wonderful. Coming back. Let's just lift and roll those shoulders. Give them a squeeze up by the ears and drop them down. Squeezing up. Pause for just a moment and then drop them down. Squeeze them up. And then drop them down. Now drop your head and take your head around and your shoulders around in a big unwinding circle. That's it. So imagine there's this big coil of rope and you're having to slowly unwind the binding rope. There we go. You might even need to take your fingertips to support you as you take your whole body around in a circle. Ah, good. Now just come for a moment and stack your vertebra one on top of the other, and then lift the head. Oh, that's it. And then tuck the chin and slide your hands along your knees and round your back. And then slide your hands towards you and lift your heart and lift your chin, stretching the whole front line. And then releasing. So breathe in very purposefully, right through the back of your nostrils. And then as you breathe out, try and make a bit of sound with your breath. A nice little bit of low vibrational sighing out. Ah. And a sound. Lifting through the heart. Ah. Good. And if you have got congestion around that sort of thoracic area, as you do this, imagine you're squeezing like a dirty mop that's just been mopping up all the stuff and you're squeezing it out. Good. I've got a mosquito, which is right on my thigh. And I know a hamster says you shouldn't kill any animals, but if it keeps if it keeps bossing around, I might have to swat it. That's it. Oh, that feels better already. Let's take fingertips on shoulders, elbows down, lift them up and slide them back. Squeeze and release. Breathe in slowly and out. Ah. That's the way. Oh, good. And then we're going to take the fingertips just on the clavicles. So right where the bony bits are here. Tuck the chin. And then very slowly lift the chin and stretch those tight muscles. If we've been looking at our phone all day or jutting the head forward for the computer. Oh, this feels really good. So dropping the head, fingertips go on the clavicles. Slide the chin up. Oh, that's it. Release. And then take the fingers a little bit lower, slightly lower, dropping the chin. You need to push down, in and down. So we're stretching right down here into the chest. That's it. Now, take the hands behind the head, just interlace them and put the ridge of your head into your hands and kind of draw your chin back. So you give yourself a double chin and see if you can lift the hands slightly so we lengthen the back of the neck. Hi, Emma. And then elbows out to the side and shoulders slide down. I'm just going to stay here for a few breaths. I'm going to get you to take the breath down and then out. So you're flaring your ribs to the side and then up. And then as you breathe out, just see if you can pour the breath out in one slow, very fluid, almost silk-like ribbon of breath. Long exhalation. As you breathe in, it's a 3-part breath. So down, out, up. And then it's a long exhale. See if you can almost double the length of the exhale to the inhale. Keeping the elbows out, shoulders are down, so we can create space, get this bit of movement through the thoracic area. With the chin drawn in, we create a constriction in the goiter here. So see if that works for you to create that Ujjayi breath. Slight constriction creates a bit more of a drag. The diaphragm has to work a bit harder. The lung capacity increases. The mind has a sound to focus on, so it's a really calming breath. Now, if your head feels like it can sit there and not jut. Take the hands, one hand on the solar plexus, one hand on the belly, so that you can feel the breath going down into your lower hand and then out, and you can feel this expansion to the sides. And as you let the breath out, see if you can feel everything just drawing in towards the spine. And whilst we're taking these slowing breaths, open your ears. Yeah, so imagine your eardrums have opened up really wide. And just be super aware of all the sounds around you. So yes, my voice, but also any other sounds. And let it almost be that you can feel the vibrations of sound. Imagine that you can feel that sound. Be hyper aware of the feeling of your hands on your body, the feeling of the air on your skin, feeling of your body imprinted into the ground. With each inhalation, run your mind's eye up your spine, lengthening the spine right up through the crown of your head towards the sky or the ceiling. And create space between those vertebrae. Lengthening the rib cage up away from the pelvis. And then with each long exhale, imagine that exhalation is just filtering down through your body. It's washing the body clean of tensions. Imagine any residual tension is just melting away with each exhalation. Dropping the exhalations down, almost like an anchor dropping down through the ocean, down through the pelvis, through the ground, deep down to the ocean bed. I want you just to take your feet out a little bit and staying with that slow breath, just the ankles are a bit looser here, winding forward, so going to the hip joints, winding forward, and as you breathe out, fold yourself down, and then as you breathe in, roll yourself up, heart comes up, and then head comes up, and then rolling back down again, pausing at the end of the exhalation so you can feel your hips, and then flowing back up again. And get some movement in the spine. Good, swapping other foot in front and then flowing back into the same wave-like action. Your breath is infusing the body, lifting it, expanding it, and then you're releasing down, going right into those hips. Beautiful. We're just going to come and do similar movement on hands and knees. If you need to take a blanket underneath your knees, please do so. Circle your wrists, give them a little massage, tuck your toes. So especially if you've been at the computer, just take a moment to paw at your mat so that you revolve the wrists around, you spread your fingers. So it's a nasty one, this, but it's great if we've been at the computer desk, turning your fingers around backwards and then just slightly bringing your weight back towards your heels. Oh, and then give those a rinse. And starting from the tail, as always, lift the tail and then tuck the tail. So just a tiny movement to start off with through the tailbone. And your mind is down here. So you're focusing on the sensation of tailbone lifting, movement through the pelvis into the lumbar, tailbone tucking, how that feels, the connection with the pelvic floor and the lower belly. So we focus, first of all, just on the tailbone, lifting and tucking with the breath. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to tuck. And then once you've got the movement through the pelvis, start to ripple the movement right up your spine. And maybe give yourself a shimmy from side to side, just a micro shimmy, jiggling the hips from side to side as you move, so that it feels like a vibration is going right up your spine. Slow breath. That's it. And then taking the tail up, and we'll swirl the tail around. So circling now from the tail, and then up through the hips, right up into the rib cage, circling, then right up into those shoulders. And you want to squeeze all of the stuff out of the crevices and the crannies. So make it a really deliberate, big circle. Pause, start with the tail in the other direction, little mini circle. And then as the circle starts going up the body, up the torso, make it a little bit bigger, make it a bit more deliberate, make it a bit more juicy. Swirling around, releasing. Good. Now slide the knees apart. Get that out of the way. Stick your bum in the sky. Drop your chest down. And either folding forearms, or if shoulders are absolutely fine, arms out to the side like that. I'm going to fold my forearms. And then we're just dropping the chest down. So we squeeze right here. Bra strap level. We want to get a squeezy sensation. As you exhale, let the chest drop. You might have to turn your head to one side. Sigh a few breaths out. Loosen the jaw. And see if you can take your feet a little bit wider than the knees. Tiny bit wider. Good. And then slowly coming up. I'm going to turn around so you can see me here, but you don't need to turn around. So take one foot out. That's my right foot out to the side. We're going to drop down a couple of times. So we're going into the inner thighs, these adductors. So come forward and then rock back. And just inching yourself into that inner thigh stretch. And then pause back here and stretch your fingers out in front of you. So we get a stretch through the spine and through the inner thigh. We're going to be coming back to this position. Bring your left hand in a little bit and then take your right hand and slide it up towards the sky. So we're opening up these chest muscles. Breathing in, stretch right out through to your fingertips. And then take this hand and slide it so they're going underneath. We're threading the needle, going right underneath. And drop the shoulder towards the ground. Chin must tuck in. And we're in a pretzel shape. And then when you need to breathe in, slide the hand back up towards the sky. So we're getting a twist through this thoracic area, opening these chest muscles, stretching the inner thighs. And then threading the needle down. Exhaling and pause. Keep breathing. Don't stop breathing, but if you enjoy that kind of pause at the end of the exhale, it's quite nice just to stay there for a bit. And then down. Good, one more. Take the hand up and then just massage that hand around. And swivel your head so you're looking down at your left hand. Go right into the neck. That's it. Slowly come down. Now, we're going to slide ourselves up. So we're in gate pose. You might need to grab a blanket underneath the knee. Here we go. It's a bit harder here on the studio deck. Alrighty, let's come up and over towards that foot. Now the foot's going straight forward, up and over, opening up the side body here. That's it. And then take this hand and take it down to the ground and stretch the whole side of your body, fingers to toes, lengthening the fascia under the skin surface. Give that foot a little tilt upwards. Now to come out of this, bend down, so sweep your hands down and then slowly come up. Take the heels of your hands onto the back of the pelvis and just lift the heart center and take a few sippy breaths so it feels like it's coming up and out to those shoulders, elbows towards each other. That's it. And then lift up through the crown of the head, so you're lifting the head up, chin draws in, rib cage drops back. Just swap to the other side, just shuffle over a wee bit. Here we go. So we'll do this and then we'll come down. So do this bit first into our gate pose, coming up and over. Notice how much stiffer this side feels since we haven't done the warm up into the inner thigh. Gosh. And then dropping it down, stretching the side body. There we go. A wee little tap. And then slide yourself down. Now leave your foot out to the side, toes are forward. We're going to drop back, come forward, drop back. So we're just nudging into that inner thigh stretch. Like so. And then pausing, take the fingers out in front and just stretch everything, splaying out, stretching, opening up through the pelvis, inner thigh muscles connecting into the pelvic floor, lengthening into the lumbar spine, that lower back area, shoulders rolling away from your ears. So just make sure there's lots of space between your ears and your shoulders. You're not all scrunched up. So you might need to widen your fingers. And we'll make this a bit more of a dynamic stretch. So pull your right hand down and lift your left fingers up towards the sky. In my case, here we go. Pausing here, and then breathing in again. And as you breathe out, just slide that hand right underneath, drop down. Give your chin a tuck right in so we don't have any cricking of the neck. Should feel quite nice on the back of your shoulder. Inhaling, unraveling. So these full body stretches are opening up all our nadis, our energy channels, helping the prana, the life force, to flow around the body. Slow, fluid movement. And down. Good. Oh, that feels good. One more. Let's just take the hand up, swirl the hand, and then just looking down so we go right into that neck area. That's it. And then slowly come down. Come back onto hands and knees again. Come back into a bit of cat-cow and wobble your bum from side to side. Like that. Oh, I'm going to get you to let your head go and give it a little wobble. Oh, cheeks a wobble. Now, tuck the toes. On your next exhalation, start to slide into down dog. Now, remember down dog, we stay with the knees bent. to start off with. Rearrange hands, nice wide frog-like hands. Shoulders roll away from your ears. Your tail is being pulled back and up. So we create the space through the vertebra. And then once we're there with our spine, that's when we start to open up the back of the legs. If you can't have your head down, if you feel dizzy, if you've got pressure in your eyes, we can bring our head up or come back to cat-cow. And of course, dropping down onto knees and then coming back up again anytime. Just being mindful that, especially when we start to lose our estrogen, we do need to be a little bit careful about regulating blood pressure, and if we get dizzy, just being very mindful. If you do, we just want to bring the head back up to heart height. Massage the knees across the midline of the body. If you're comfortable being here in down dog, make her a dynamic dog, a dancing dog. So we're going right into those hips. And then up into the toes and massage your toes around so that we get a good stretch through the feet. And when you're ready, toes slightly in, move yourself forward, bend the knees, and then just come into a tabletop position here for a moment. So sitting bones are wide. Now, be mindful that your feet are straight forward. They're not going out to the side. Inner arches are slightly lifting, so not collapsing with your knees going inwards. Now, if you're comfortable to put your head down again, we're going to fold ourselves with knees really bent, tummy squashing against thighs. Yeah, so you're right down here. If that doesn't feel right, just come up onto your forearms and stay where I am here. So if we're doing this version, try also holding onto your forearms and using the weight of the arms and your head to traction the upper body, the neck area of the upper body. And then give yourself a little jiggle. Can you see how I'm just kind of bouncing up and down? Weight is down into the heels. And you're just kind of jiggling so that your tummy gets a bit of a squash. And when we want to breathe out and make some noise. So it's like this. Getting all the breath out. Don't know what my neighbours are going to think. Beautiful. Slide yourself up a little bit so we all come into tabletop here. Straighten the back. Chin is in. Shoulders are right down away from your ears. Take a few breaths. And then slide your stuff bum down so a bit more like a squat here. And then roll up. So we're kind of doing an undulating wave. Squatting, dropping. Quite strong on the feet. You're pushing down and out with your feet. Nice stable base. And then from that stable base, the body is flowing. So we're going to get into those different types of muscle fibers. These are the ones that respond to fluid movement. So see if you can really plug down like you've got roots through your feet. And then imagine your legs are these really strong trunks. And then almost like a bamboo or a willow or a reed. You're letting that movement ripple up and down your spine. With your breath. Let's take it up a little bit higher. And stretch right up towards the sky. So Rebecca knows I've got this tree above me here. And it's got these incredible white flowers and they're turning pink. Very pretty. So I'm going to just take my feet a bit wider, push down and out, and then grabbing one wrist, coming up into a lateral stretch. So we're doing such good stuff for our spine, the synovial fluid between the vertebra, and the spine loves moving to the side. So give yourself a nice lateral stretch. Bend the knees as you come back into the center. and then flow up and over to the other side, just grabbing the wrist, opening up the side body, taking yourself over, and then all the way. That's it. Bend the knees, slowly flowing back. Let's just take the hands behind the head again. Restack the head. So chin is in, elbows out, shoulders are down. Take the feet towards each other. So we're coming to Tandasana. So we are creating a mountain-like feeling through the body. So once your head feels settled on top of your neck, rib cage drawing down and in, behind is behind you, shoulders soft. You stand here for a moment, you're visualizing your skeleton. Imagine you're one of those skeletons with a hook from its skull being lifted up on one of those poles. So you've got your skeleton just perfectly stacked. And all the muscles, just see if you can make sure that you feel like everything is dropping down through the feet, down into the ground. Soften the knees, take your weight into one leg, it's my left leg, squeeze thigh muscles around thigh bone, hands into the heart center, press the hands together to engage core, and then take the right knee out to the side, toes on the ground, and then soften the muscles around your eyes. So this is your drishti, your eye gaze, really soft. You might slide your foot up. Your standing leg has roots deep, deep down into the earth. So feel that pressure down through your standing foot. If you are feeling a bit more balanced, maybe grab the ankle, press foot into thigh, thigh into foot. And notice the more pressure you put through your hands and the more pressure you put through thigh and foot, the sturdier and more steady you'll be. Start to play with that line of energy with your breathing. Imagine your inhale is pulling energy up the body, and as you breathe out, your energy has been plugged down through your foot. So breathing in, energy is lifting, and when you feel that inner lift, this kind of lifting, opening of energy with the breath, maybe taking the hands up and out. I'm opening my fingers like this, and maybe even lifting your eye gaze upwards. Keep feeling plugged through your standing foot. Almost like a conduit of energy. Your body is just more condensed. It's more condensed energy, but it's made of the same stuff as everything all around us, seen and unseen. And hands down. Push those hands together. Soften the knee. Come through the center. Plug that right foot into the ground. And transfer to the other side. Use your anchor breathing. So the exhalation is dropping down like an anchor through the foot, creating roots deep into the ground. The inhalation is lifting up. And if and when you get that inner feeling of lifting, then maybe take the hands up and out if that feels good. And if the balance is there, maybe taking the eye gaze out. My neighbours have got a birthday happening. I don't know if you can hear that. And then hands down. Take the hands up and behind you. Big circles like that. Beautiful. And then feet nice and wide and swish. So we go right into the spine again. Rinse and rinse. That's the way. And then take yourself out into a star. So feet quite wide, toes going slightly in. And I'm going to get you to bend the knees and take the hands on the hip flexors and push your bum back behind you. Knees can bend as much as they need to, or stay as straight as you want to, but don't hyper flex into the back of the knees, okay? So be a bit mindful. Dropping down. Now, if you have a bolster, you could always put it underneath your hands. Otherwise, we're trying to reach out in front of us with our hands as far as we can. And then imagine somebody's got your tail and they're pulling your tail gently backwards. So it's like you're on the rack. Now, if you're feeling okay in your hamstrings, push down and out with your feet to maybe lengthen the legs a bit more. So we're opening up the back. We're opening up the back of the legs, the back of the torso, the back of the pelvis. Make sure shoulders are not squeezing, so you might need to take your hands a bit wider. And then bend the knees and walk the hands. Again, you might have a bolster or a brick underneath you. Walk your hands here. Turn the toes out and just come in. Heel toe a little bit closer in. And drop down through Malasana. So pausing here, pressing the knees out to the side. Yeah. A deep stretch right into the groin. Now see if you can do a little bit of a jig from side to side. Now you might need to come up a bit higher for this. Yeah, so just see what's going on with your legs. So if you're a bit stiffer, you'll need to be higher. And I also suggest maybe even holding onto the edge of a chair. If you're feeling a bit more flexy, then use your hands. We're just going to move our feet and maybe even come into a stretch right out to the side. Yeah, so this is where we could be going, using the ground, pulling the toes up and going right deep into the groin. Otherwise, we're higher and we're kind of doing that inline skating movement. Yeah. So if you're doing this, try not to round. Can you see the difference between when I round my back and how that automatically tucks your tail, and how if I'm lifting my sitting bones and lifting my heart center, back is straighter, now I'm getting a much bigger stretch into the hamstrings and into the inner thighs. So wherever you are, down here or up here or holding onto a chair, see if you can imagine you've got a string from your heart center lifting you up. Yeah. And try not to tuck your tail. Good. That's it. And then make that even. And then turn yourself around. If you're sideways on your mat, turn yourself around. A last little jig and down dog. A last dancey dog. Shoulders away from ears. Now shake your head. Make a bit of noise. A little roll. And then we're coming down. I've got my bolster. So your best version of child pose. So it might be here, it might be tucking a bolster just inside your knees here. If you can easily come down to the ground and that feels best for you, then allow your tummy just to fold into your thighs so you get a bit of an intestine massage. Forehead on the ground, palms up. So whichever version you're taking, see if you can instantly melt. You melt the back muscles away from your spine. Just allow them to almost drip down away from your skeleton down into the ground. Let your face become very relaxed. If you have got your forehead pressing onto the ground, really enjoy the pressure on the third eye point. And I like to imagine any residual thoughts in the mind, any sort of busyness is just pouring out to that point, down into the ground. You might need to wobble your head from side to side and massage into that third eye point. And as you breathe, Just imagine you're sending the breath into the lower lobes of the back of your lungs, right down into the back of the lungs. Notice how in child pose, the exhalation naturally becomes longer. And you have that wonderful pause at the end of the exhalation. So see if you can exaggerate that. Exaggerate the pause at the end of the exhalation. Exaggerate the sound of your breath. Exaggerate the length of your exhale. Beautiful. And we're just going to slide ourselves onto our backs. So drawing yourself down onto your back. Oh, there we go. Bring your knees to your chest and roll your feet around like so. Then grab your toes if you can. I'm just hooking my fingers around the big toes. Make sure your shoulders stay on the mat. And then just see if you can push your heels away from you. So imagine your heels are driving away from you. And just kind of have a little play here. Opening up. We've done a fair bit of opening up into the hamstrings and into the inner thighs. So have a little play with opening up those legs. And we can come to baby pose. You might be grabbing knees and calves. That's absolutely fine. So just grab wherever you can. If toes feel too far away, or if you're having to pull shoulders up, take your hands a bit lower. You might do one leg at a time. Bending one knee in, extending out through the other heel. Chin's drawn back so that you stay with that kind of rasping, very soft Darth Vader sound to your breath. You're taking both feet up and then just plug the back of your legs into the ground. So you're pushing your pelvis down, rub into the hamstrings. So right up near the knees, the insertion point here, and then right down by your bum. Pull your toes towards your eyes and push the heels towards the ceiling. And then slide the toes out with the heels towards each other. So you get right down the side of the legs. Nervy stretch. And I want you to bend one knee right into your tummy. And then send the other foot down onto the ground and just start to slide it away. So going into the hip flexor here. If you find that one side of your pelvis is lifted compared to the other, doing this stretch is a good one, or just placing your leg over the edge of a chair. So one leg over the chair and one leg just flat on the ground. Be a good way to even up the pelvis. Take the other hand above the head. Give yourself a decent stretch. And then bend the knees out to the side as you swap. Bring this knee up, toes down, sliding away. And go right into those hip flexors. So Bex, this is one for you. I'm just thinking, if you had the edge of a chair, just resting your leg into the chair. That's a really good one for letting the hip flexors release. Other hand above the head. Oh. That's it. Bring your knees up. Give yourself a twist. So Drop the knees over to one side, looking over the other shoulder. Sigh the breath out. And then kind of a lazy roll to the other side. And see if you can expand your breathing. So we've slowed it right down. As you breathe in, with the chin drawn in, it constricts that inhalation. So you're slowing it and stretching it and directing it. You want to direct the breath right down here. This is where we have the endorphin receptors. When we chest breathe, we just make ourselves anxious, and it just sends signals to the brain that we are in danger. So when we're doing stuff like this, really consciously take your breath down, slow it down, and just notice how good it feels to be in your body and sending the breath around your body consciously. Good. And last thing, just to take the weight of the pelvic organs off the pelvic floor. If you've got a bolster, great. If you haven't, don't worry. Just do this without a bolster. Little massage into the back, and then hands and feet. I'm being munched here. Oh, hands and feet up towards the ceiling. Circling the hands and feet. Just noticing the weight of your arms and the weight of your legs dropping down into the shoulder sockets, dropping down into the pelvic sockets. So just enjoy that kind of, that compression, one direction and then the other direction with the hands and the feet. If your jaw wriggle, just noticing if you can unwind your lower jaw a little bit more away from the upper jaw. You might need to get your fingers and just gently pull downwards. The masseter muscles here are big, strong muscles. So you might need to get your fingertips right in there and just kind of pull in and down. And then just giving the body a rinse, a jiggly rinse. So I love doing this. Fingers, toes, feet, hands, wrists, ankles, calves, forearms, elbows, knees, upper arms, thighs, jaw, whole body, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. That's good, hey? Feels good. Right, slide down. Get yourself nice and comfy. Just flop. So this is the best breath. This is where you integrate the practice. So have a moment just getting nice and comfy. And like at the beginning of the practice, you know, really put yourself in this moment in time. So be really conscious, because we can do this. We can be very, very conscious about switching on our senses. So really feel that velvety contact of the air against your skin. Just imagine the skin cells are reaching out to really feel the air. And notice where your body is pressing into the ground and where there are little gaps between your body and the ground. Visualize your skeleton. Visualize the weight of the bones of your skeleton. Feel that weight pressing into the ground. Noticing the sensation of your clothing, like bra straps, the tightness, the softness, band around your waist, the feeling of your clothing as opposed to the feeling of the air. Listening, really, really absorbing all sounds. You're not putting a story to any sound. You're just letting the ears pick up the vibration of all sound and just kind of letting the mind roam around, picking up sound. And then really focus on your breathing and notice the sensations of your breathing. So the coolness of the inhale at the nostril tips. And that warmth, slight rasping sound of the exhalation. And whilst you're keeping this global awareness of the whole body, start to slide your attention down into your right hand. Like really focus on the sensations of your right hand. Tingling of the fingers, the palm, feeling into the wrist. And then slide your mind's eye up your forearm into your elbow. Really feel the elbow and then encourage the elbow to relax. And slide up to your right shoulder. Maybe move your mind's eye around the shoulder, encouraging the shoulder to soften. Across the chest, across to the left side and into the left hand. Fingers, palm, back of the hand, wrist, forearm and elbow. Sliding up the arm to the shoulder, massaging around the shoulder. And then across through the chest and sliding down through the belly to the right hip, around the right hip, heavy and relaxed, and then the right thigh softening, and the knee relaxing, right calf, ankle, sole of the foot, toes and top of the foot. Running the mind's eye back up the leg, across the pelvis into the left hip. Softening the left hip, the left thigh and the left knee, the left calf, the ankle, and the sole of the foot, between the toes, top of the foot. Sliding that awareness back up to the pelvis, into the back of the body, right buttock, left buttock, right side of the lower back, left side of the lower back, right shoulder, left shoulder, running up and down the whole of your spine, and up into the back of the head, into the very crown of the head, and then down into the forehead, and the right eye, and the left eye, and the right ear, and left ear, and right cheek, and left cheek, right nostril, the left nostril, the top lip, the bottom lip, and the tongue, and the chin, and the jaw, and the throat, and the right side of the chest, and the left side of the chest, the right side of the abdomen, and the left side of the abdomen, and the lower abdomen, and the whole of your pelvis, and both legs together, and both arms together, and the whole of your torso, front and back, together, and the whole of your head, front and back, together, and the whole of your body, the whole of your body, the whole of your body in this moment in time, so relaxed, so relaxed and heavy, so incredibly soft and heavy and receiving. Noticing the gentle rise and fall of your belly, synchronizing with your breath. Again, noticing the coolness of the air against your skin, feeling of your body resting on the ground holding your body. Starting to bring your awareness back now. Starting to increase the length of the inhale, filling the lungs more and more and a bit more, and then just letting that breath slide out and doing that again. Breathing in and then breathing in a bit more and a bit more, and letting the breath slide out. And wriggling fingers and toes, bring some movement back into the trillions and trillions of individual cells, the condensed energy that makes up this vessel that you're living this lifetime through. Just have a little play with the vessel, a little wriggle with fingers and toes, a little movement of the head from side to side. And actually most of the water content, most of the content of our body is water. So as you start to move now, be really aware of that water content and be fluid in your movement. Very slowly bring your knees up. Very fluidly and slowly flow to one side. And when you're ready, just pressing hands down and just letting the body be as fluid as it can be to come upwards. And it might take you a while just to come slowly into some form of seating position where you feel the spine can be nice and long and strong, but the rest of your body is really fluid, really floaty and soft. And you might need to just roll your head and your shoulders a little bit, and taking the hands together and taking the thumbs against the solar plexus right here into your heart. Taking a moment to be in this moment in time and acknowledge yourself for taking time out of your schedule just to flow into you, into being. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.